offensive production. What's the biggest factor that you think? How do you analyze it?
I do and I will. It's kind of about Notre Dame right now, though, and I know there'll be a time and place to look back and talk about the things in their entirety, but we got a cool opportunity in front of us right now. So not to dodge it. I definitely won't dodge it. I'll be happy to answer it at the appropriate time, but that'll be once the season's over.
You talked a little bit about just the red zone, execution last night on Monday night. Do you feel like that was more a function of execution? Are there play calls you wish you had back in that scenario? Just what was your evaluation of that?
Yeah, there was one play call where I'm not their defensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure they were misaligned. That had we recognized it, we could have done better. Everything else was kind of there. We just didn't, we didn't make plays, and so that's on us too. I mean, we all own in it. The calls, the coaching, the execution, like we all own in it. We had some opportunities to make them, but we got to go make them. We got to coach better and execute better down there.
Coach, what can fans expect on signing day in general going forward here this last month?
A lot. We're excited about it. I think it's going to be a great, fun, exciting close. It's so unique right now because it's just jumping up on us so quick. And again, us not being in homes, not getting a chance to go out on the road and recruit. We've had a chance to go evaluate, to go see games, but that whole piece has been very, very different. I know it has been for everybody across the country, and I think because of that, you're seeing some of the volatility that you're going to see. I mean, you're seeing it all over the country. You're going to see guys moving around, and you're seeing it for two reasons. You're seeing, some guys that are changing for their minds for whatever the reason is. And again, it's kind of unique because you can't go get in front of all their faces right now. And then you're seeing some schools that are changing their minds, and you're actually seeing that a lot more than ever before, in my opinion. And that's just the nature of that's just the world that we're in right now. And that's gonna, players have always changed their mind and changing it more. In the last several years, have probably changed it more and more than ever before. It's probably upticked as time has went on, but there's a lot of schools that are changing their mind too. But it's not like the schools are going to jump in front of cameras like this and say that. So I think you're going to continue to see volatility because of those two things.
How do you feel about not making in-home visits this year? Is it something you miss? Something you don't miss?
I do. I miss it. I mean, it's a really difficult time, because you're balancing that, you're balancing anything going on, like last time this year we were getting ready, in the process hiring a whole defensive staff, you're getting ready for a bowl game, your own roster. It's like, I understand why they did it, and I think there's good reasons. Do you miss part of it? Sure you do, right? Just to go sit down with people, to go in their homes, or be able to go to the school and sit down and have some of these conversations face to face. Yeah, we're all used to doing it. We don't really know anything different. So I think for all of us that have been in it for a while, it feels it's pretty unique.
The
offensive line seems to be playing just more confidently, just in general. What do you feel like the turning point was for that group?
Probably Michigan. Probably Michigan. I mean, I feel like since then we've been on a pretty steady incline the entire way, and that group hasn't gotten a break. I mean, we've played good groups. I mean, when this season ends, and this may go some of your question before, when this season ends, you look back at the defensive rankings of the teams that we played, and there's some stuff that's like relative scoring and all that that'll be pretty interesting stats because, when you don't play three layups in non-conference, and when you play in a conference with the defenses we do, like we hadn't played against a bad defense. And we played against a lot of good individual defensive linemen and defensive lines. And I think we battled. I think that's kind of battle tested us. I think we've just gotten better. We've stuck with it. I think, the leadership from Coach Henson, from Jonah, from Emmanuel, and seeing some of these young guys grow up and get better and kind of take some of these challenges and really rise up to them. I think it's a combination of all that. It's been obviously key, especially this stretch here as of late.
Given the improvement, how do you feel just about the trajectory of that group? Do you feel more confident maybe now than you did at the beginning of the season? Like trajectory going forward?
Yeah, I do, and some of it is what I'm seeing on Saturdays, but some of it's just what I'm seeing on the practice field. Like we just did a kind of a developmental period right before you guys came out here, and we've got a lot of good-looking young linemen in that are talented and going to be good players, and like that it's been a while. Like I probably well before I was here until that was the case. So like you're starting to see a couple years worth of work and recruiting and development out here, and again, I know the fans and everybody sees it on Saturday, but there's a lot of exciting things happening behind the scenes, kind of like with Paige and Lonnie and some of those guys last year, what was happening. And I think there's a lot of guys that are going to be big-time players for us in depth and what has a chance to be championship quality depth here pretty soon.
Knowing just the quality of the defenses that you guys have faced this year in the Big Ten, I know you focused on Notre Dame this week, but just thinking about the trajectory of this program moving forward, is there more of a desire to keep kind of bringing in offensive talent next year? Do anything a little bit different offensively to try and adjust to that, or what's your mindset there?
Hard to say right now. I mean, it's some of that's going to depend on, what all happens with our current roster, and we have some guys. We'll have a few guys obviously that have decisions to make on, if they go pro or they stay and play another year. Not a ton, but we got a couple guys that have those decisions. So, we'll just see. Obviously, we're going to try to, we're going to try to get the right talent in here. We're going to try to continue to build some of these position groups, especially, O-line and tight end have been one that we have really tried to revamp in our time here, and I think we're proud of the progress we've made and excited about what's there in the future. And whatever it's got to be. I mean, it's sure you always want to bring in talent. It's just kind of at what positions and where do you need it to be successful. And I'm comfortable being successful, whatever it takes, whatever personnel groupings it is, however we play. That doesn't even really matter to me. I just want to do what's best, and that's how we've always viewed it. And I think that's why we've been pretty multiple through the years, and we'll have to continue to adapt and adjust. I think like we always have.
At Big Ten Media Day, you asked about this rivalry, how unique it is, and keeping it going. Marcus Freeman was asked about this game, the 22 game, earlier this week, and he talked about the pain and how they left here. Excuse me. How are you driving this game home this week, based on the way the season's played out? How much more significance is it taking on this year?
I think it's always an important game. I mean, it's a rivalry game. There's a lot of history behind it. It's two great programs. It's obviously another one that's played in iconic places. And again, I just think when you come here, I mean, the history behind this game is so epic. I mean, it just is. And so I just think it would be, number one, I think it would be disrespectful to not be as ready as you possibly can be, coaches, players, everybody. And then the fact for us, I mean, it's obviously our last game in the Coliseum. We've got a lot of great Trojans on this team. That'll be their last game. We got a chance to really close great with this 3-game stretch here at the end of the season. And obviously a phenomenal opportunity to finish this thing the way that we intend on finishing it. So, I love it. I love rivalry games. Can't wait for it to get here.
Thank you, Coach.